Hi Gemini, Taurus, Moon sign people. Welcome to your April 5th Pisces new moon reading. This is Pisces for your Vedic moon sign. You want to check the links below and make sure that you are not also Gemini in your Vedic moon sign. So we're moving more into just looking at the Vedic moon signs, because in my work with Mama Drama Trauma, I'm noticing, and basically I've been noticing, but confirmation that the healing is really happening working with the Vedic signs. And for you, this energy for this new moon is 11th house energy. And so this has a lot to do with your hopes. It has to do with your dreams for your life, your associations that make those dreams come true, that you've built over a period of time. And this is really working with the fact that Mars is in your first lunar house. All these readings are based on your first lunar house, and that is Taurus, Gemini in the Western. Now, again, not so much about the Western, but we're looking at moon yogas with Vedic lunar astrology. Healing Mama Drama Trauma, condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma, is healed through connecting to the mother of all mothers. The mother of all mothers is that still small voice within. Our intuition, our highest selves. It is the voice of our soul. Now, in Vedic astrology, the sun is the soul. So the sun sign is that soul personality. The moon is how it feels. It is the repository of its memories over many lifetimes. The soul knows its karma. It also transmits and communicates back and forth through that physical life of the ascendant, that ego life, the emotions. And so the moon is a satellite transmitter. Essentially, the first satellite before the human mind created satellites, the moon. So Great Mother, the mother of all mothers, is the true transmitter of our emotional and our intuitional experience in this physical body. We associate that with our physical mother until we connect with Great Mother, which is why we do that in healing Mama Drama Trauma. You cannot heal from it if you are still connected to the guilt, blame, and shame that perpetuates it. So working with the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck and with my inner work coaching at greatmotherspeaks.info, we learn how to grieve the mother that we want in order to accept the one that we have. New moon readings have to do with being able to clearly see what you have learned over the previous lunar cycle in terms of the lessons of MDT. MDT is a soul contract between two souls, and so the lessons always occur. It's a lifetime of healing, but they're always occurring in two areas: our area of evolving in self-love and of evolving in spiritual independence. That, again, personal connection to our inner soul selves, the truth of who we are, as opposed to projecting that reality of who we are, what we feel, onto others, first and foremost, our wounded mother. Okay? So those wounded mother issues are only healed when we become conscious of this process and we begin to work with it. So working with these energies for you, Capricorn moon sign people, you are well into what is called a sati in Vedic astrology. It's a 7-year period that resets your reality button, is how I describe it. And we can debate about reality all that we want to, but when sati comes around, which is the period that Saturn transits your moon yogas. So for you, your 12th house yoga is Sagittarius, which is what Saturn entered in December 2017. So you've probably noticed for a little over a year there being some intense issues in terms of going with the flow in your life emotionally, being able to really know whether you're coming or going and how you really feel about all aspects of your life. And particularly what's coming up for you are 6th and 12th house issues, because Saturn is conjunct the South Node, K2, right now, and that is Sagittarius in your 12th lunar house. And so you have been having some real issues letting go of things that do not align with your personal truth at this time. If you didn't know what it was before in terms of reality, you're getting introduced to it. And so you're a year into this 7-year period, which most people fear in astrology. But for me, it's very clear, you know, having worked with this and worked with people, that Saturn is just a timekeeper. And so some people have a good relationship with the clock, you know, and some people don't. You know, some people are on time for things and they have no problem being on time for things. If we use a very oversimplified material example for immaterial reality, a clock, for example, Saturn is the cosmic clock. It says, you know, the soul incarnates at this particular time and space in order to experience this particular evolutionary component of their ascent in divinity. And they're supposed to achieve certain landmarks at certain times. That's all it is, based on the cosmic calculus, based on how you are set up elementally by the planets in and as your being. We are made of star stuff. Why and how is that? That's what all these signs and stuff mean. When you go into Ayurvedic medicine, that's what it is. It's based on how the elemental aspects of the planets are made up in your body. That determines what your body type is, and what foods work with you and what foods don't. I mean, hey, I played with it for a long time before I realized I'm just playing myself. I love bananas. I have banana trees all in my yard. I'm Pitta Kapha. Neither one of those doshas, the 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, I'm majority Pitta Kapha, only 10% Vata. They do not like bananas. And I played with that, and I played with that, and the banana bread this, and I did this, and I did that. No, very aggravated me a lot. And I could go into the planetary reasons for that and whatnot, but this is sufficient for you to know that the reality check that you've been going through for about a year will continue to intensify in negative effect as long as you stay in truth avoidance about mama drama trauma, which is the condition in which mothers project unhealed aspects of themselves onto their children, causing emotional and or physical trauma. So if you've experienced that and you have arrived here, Great Mother is speaking to you about that, and she wants you to know you don't have to suffer. You did not incarnate to suffer. You incarnated to evolve from this experience in self-love and in spiritual independence. So this experience is forcing you to love yourself and for you to connect with the mother of all mothers in the way that is most authentic to and for you, as your soul is being expressed through you, as you. That's the point of this experience. It's not a personal attack, although it feels like that, which is why we have to work with Great Mother energy, the lunar energy, that radar transmitter between the ego, the ascendant, and the soul, the sun in Vedic astrology. She is the emotional transmitter from the ascendant, uploading emotional to Surya, the sun, and downloading from the sun intuition to us. Okay, our higher good, our higher will. Okay, but the soul gets uploaded to it, our lower will and our lower fears and all of that as well. When Great Mother talks about the ego, she's not talking about some psychological entity that we made up. When she is speaking about ego, she's just simply talking about who we call ourselves in a biographical sense. I am Tammy. I'm an inner work life coach. You know, I downloaded the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck to help people heal from MDT the way Great Mother healed me. You know, I love doing yoga. I like walking the beach. I like reading about astrology and doing, you know, moon charts. And, you know, that's the ego. That's all she needs, okay? As a delineation from the soul that comprises many ego identities simultaneously. And this is one. Okay? So for you, with this Pisces new moon being in your third house, the inner work that your soul wants to do in relationship to close cohorts, siblings, neighbors, co-workers, is the pleasure principle. This new moon, this is second chakra energy. Of course, we use the 49 scenes from the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy is the poster child for healing mama drama trauma. She took her power back by getting that broom back from the Wicked Witch, that phallic symbol, our power. We have to take it back from MBT in order to own our divinity as being dearly loved children of the great Mother Father God, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. So we have a right to follow our bliss, and your soul wants you to know that without question this lunar cycle. It wants you to know that in relationship to others that you are in close proximity with on a daily basis. So if you are experiencing a lot of side-eye type of behavior, not a lot of support amongst your siblings, your co-workers, people just not feeling you or talking to you, it's just to kind of let you know that your soul has been getting those uploads from you and that it's ready to, at this new moon, and it is this new moon because the second chakra is ruled by Jupiter, which rules Pisces in Vedic astrology. So your soul is coming through very strongly with this Hattar card and the scene when Dorothy leaves the farm and crosses the bridge into Professor Marvel's camp, leaving a bad situation behind with people that you were living with, that you were working with, okay, is what your soul wants to do. It wants to leave it behind on an emotional level. It doesn't want to be as invested in that anymore. You've probably received downloads from your soul about that in terms of messages or symbols, signs and symbols that you've gotten, telling you songs that you've heard on the radio, shows that you've seen on TV, movies that you caught on Turner Classic Movies that may be referred to a need for you to take responsibility for your life. That it's time for you to just, even though you're going through this sati, now that you know what it is and what you're going through, as I just explained, and that it has to do with these moon yogas. See what you get when you listen to Great Mother Speaks, you get to really understand, she's speaking to you, she knows what's going on. And she wants you to understand that you have the control. Regardless of how confusing it has been up to this point, now realize that you have the control. And that's why you've been getting the message that you have the control. You probably up to now haven't felt like you could because the people are so influential, or because, the North Node is in your 6th house and the North Node of Vedic astrology is in Gemini. And so what is the North Node? The North Node is about things that you want to experience. And so you probably want to change your lifestyle. You probably do want to move to a new place. You probably do want to get out of that job, that circle of people, out of that neighborhood. And you've probably getting downloads that it's time for you to do that and time to follow your own yellow brick road. This is a gut chakra, waning gibbous moon card. The gut chakra is ruled by Mars, which is in your 5th house right now. And that does have to do with creativity. So creating your new life suddenly may be something that is on your mind for this lunar cycle, this time from the Pisces new moon till after the full moon. You're getting some clarity about that with that waning gibbous moon that we have there. What's in your shadow position is that you don't know that you're free to do this. You have no idea that you have the freedom, you have the ability to do this, and that you can just breathe your way through it. Get some oxygen through up your throat, your heart, okay, up through your third eye, that's pineal gland. The third eye is actually ruled by Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, but the pineal gland is Piscean, and so it needs to be oxygenated for you to breathe through this process of knowing that you have the freedom. This is in your shadow position. You're not aware of this. If you are aware of this, and some of you who are aware that you are following your bliss, some of you may be on the path to taking responsibility to following your bliss. What's in your shadow position is that you may not want other people to know that you're making plans to bam. You know, you quietly getting your stuff together over here, you know, to just kind of segue into that new position in that other town. You know, you quietly getting your new digs together for you to move out at the end of the month, at the end of the summer, or whatever type of thing. And that freedom is really based on you wanting to live according to the law. And the law is ego-soul alignment. The gut chakra rules instinct. It rules the lower will, okay? That visceral response to the material life. And the immaterial, that higher mind, the third eye, is intuitive. That's where the intuition comes down from. And then, of course, the emotion comes up through the heart. That's why we call the heart the crossroads between the ego and the soul. Now, this is a first quarter moon gut chakra card, okay? Mars in the 5th house. And so what you want to move on this creation that you have in your heart, to shift, to take responsibility, to follow your bliss that is being inspired on a conscious level this new moon. And so living according to the law is aligning that ego and that soul in order to do exactly what it wants to do going forward. When they are aligned, when the soul is synced, when we're synced up with the soul, there's absolutely nothing we can't do because we already are. Our beingness is at its fullest potential place of birthing things coming forward. Now, what's supporting you in doing that is rage. You're very upset about how your immediate environment is holding you back from you moving forward with your healing process. You are well underway with this sati-sati process of resetting your reality. You are 5 years in it. It is a reset process that gets you in line with the truth. And it started when sati-sati entered Sagittarius on December 17th of 2017. And you are really over it. You know, Saturn has been digging for over a year now. And the people in our immediate environment, they are our mirrors, just like the mirrors in Dorothy's immediate environment made her really upset. Aunt Em said that there's nothing that she could do when Miss Gulch came to take Toto away from her. We can't go against the law, Dorothy. You know, she got something from the sheriff to come and get the Toto. We can't go against the law. And MDT is a soul contract. We can't go against the law. It is a soul contract for us to evolve in self-love and spiritual independence, for us to learn to love ourselves and connect with Great Mother through our own connection. Not to rely on our birth mother, but to rely on our inner self, our inner wisdom, in order to guide us. And that is a very difficult concept for most people. It takes lifetimes. Time, that's Saturn. Okay? And so we can do it in one or we can do it in multiple. I know of at least 5 lifetimes my mother and I have done this dance. And it's just in this lifetime that I decided to heal. So I get the rage. You want to recognize that this is supporting you, Capricorn moon sign people. The rage is the suppressed anger that you've had over all these years about mama drama trauma. And it's finally coming to the surface, like the seedling finally coming out of the ground. Root chakra is ruled by Saturn. That's why we're talking a lot about Saturn here. It's supporting you to release that K2 in your South Node. Okay, so to release the old ways that you've been dealing with it. In other words, tolerating a lot of things in your immediate environment that you just simply don't have to do. Your North Node is in the 6th house, Gemini, and you're wanting to intelligently and more diplomatically deal with situations in your life. 12th house is where K2 is. And so you're wanting to let go of areas that you've kind of been blinded to the reality about this. Now, your present state of ego-soul alignment is Hecate. You're at a crossroads and you realize that. That's why you want to move forward in a very blissful way. And what, again, some of you may not realize is that you're free to make that decision. Some of you may decide that you're not at a place where, yeah, even though my immediate environment isn't the best, I'm really not at a place where I feel that I can just decide to go in a completely different direction. I may decide to use my freedom to try to improve my present situation. And that may be an option for some of you. You want to look at, though, why your soul wants to do this work. That's what's most important. And the Yemiya card is showing us that it's doing it from a heart space. And this heart space has to do with surrendering to the higher will of soul, to what the intuition is saying. And the intuition is saying that if that is what brings you bliss, even though you feel disrespected, you feel guilted, shamed, and blamed by people in your immediate environment, which are the characteristics that perpetuate MDT, you can't leave it. You don't have the capacity to do that at this time. If you take responsibility for that and you say, I just don't have it in me to do it at this time, surrender to your soul's higher will, which is to follow your bliss and to allow that to come to you in the way that it can in the space that you're in at this time. Great Mother is not about you leaving blame, shame, and guilt of MDT to enter into a whole nother situation of blame, shame, and guilt. That's not what this is about. You know, you got to do it this way in order to be healed. And you got, no. The universe is limitless. All this is about is being aware and having the authenticity to be truthful with ourselves, to live in integrity with ourselves and love ourselves the way Great Mother and Great Father God love us. That's all. That is necessary in order for us to clearly hear them, in order for us to clearly live the life that we want to live, in order for you this month to truly follow your bliss, regardless of how you decide to do that. Just being open to things being shown to you that you may not be aware that you can do. Just be open to seeing it. That's all. Just be open. Even be open to saying, this is the best I can do, and I accept myself for it, and that this is the best that I know that I can do, and I'm open to knowing that I can do more. Because how your soul wants to do this is by not selling out. By the full moon on the 19th, you want to come back to see what Great Mother has to say to you about the influences of the retrogrades that are coming up, because I'm seeing this full moon second chakra card. Remember, the second chakra is ruled by Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius, okay, which is your 12th house moon sign, but it also rules Pisces. Now, Pisces is the new moon, and so you have the new moon card, but you also have, and is it the full moon in Libra this month? I believe it's in, but at any rate, this right here is telling you that Jupiter is going to be going retrograde before the full moon. And after that, on the 24th, Pluto is going to go retrograde, and then Saturn on the 29th. This is important because all of this is happening in your 12th house on the full moon, around and about. And so you don't want to be selling yourself out. You don't want to be going against your integrity around that time. So she's giving you fair and ample warning to let you know that if you have faith to follow your bliss and be open to it, and you surrender to it, you are going to be able to take the responsibility that you need to make the decision to move forward on the crossroads and move forward freely. Because after that, it's not about punitive punishment, none of that. There may be a toll, because the prostitute that is either someone who, we all have to sell ourselves in order to survive in this material world. It's only an issue of how we prostitute ourselves. Do we prostitute ourselves in a way that demeans us? We give our gifts and talents and abilities away and get nothing back for it? Or do we share our gifts, talents, and abilities in a way that esteem us, you know, that represents really and truly who we are and what we're about? Do we enjoy it? You know, do we enjoy how and what we're sharing with the world? That's the only question. But regardless, we're all going to have to do it. And so how are you sharing yourself with your immediate environment? How are you living your life? And your soul wants to enjoy itself. And by the full moon, you're going to be supported in doing that as long as you're open to receiving the abundance and the blessings of Jupiter from your 12th house, which is about receiving this download. Your first house with this new moon going to the full moon is about experiencing these emotions associated with taking responsibility. Now, as you go into processing after the full moon, when Pluto and Saturn go into effect in K2, they're going to support you in processing this in a very Aquarius manner, okay, because that's your second house of your moon dosha. 12th house is how we receive intuitive downloads. First house of your moon, Capricorn, is how you feel it. And so you feel things in a very, you know, this is how things are. And quite frankly, Capricorn moon sign people believe things have to be hard. There's a root belief that life has to be hard in order for it to be worth living. And that is because of the Saturn rulership. And that is a download that, of course, will be affected by the planets that are in and around aspecting and angling this yoga. But you want to particularly look in general at the transit of Venus, which will help ameliorate your experience in the second house and your processing. And so Venus, Mercury, and Neptune are conjunct in your second house. And so you are processing by the full moon and after, in particular, this issue of taking responsibility for living according to the alignment that you're taking responsibility for your bliss in a way that feels really good. Feels really good. So don't question it, is what I'm saying. Don't sell yourself out. Don't let yourself get caught up into. Neptune can be deceptive and it can be delusional, which it can be, but for you it's a balancing thing, because your thing can be like, it's so life has to be hard that you never do see this part, that Great Mother's coming through and she's standing in your shadow position. You are free. And so when those feelings start coming to you that I'm free, you know, to do what I want, and I can actually get out of this situation, I can actually make the situation better for me, that's your green light to go. You got all of those planets in your south node. Let it go. I mean, it can't be any clearer than that unless you want it to be. You know, we can always pay a toll going someplace, or we can take advantage of, you know, the free toll day. And that's what the cosmic calculus has set up for you with this Uranus in your fourth house over the next 6 years. You're going to have a lot of changes with your relationship with your mother, your homeland, Mother Earth, where you live. And so some of you are going to be suddenly moving in that sort of thing. And so use the energy to your advantage consciously, with the awareness that you are a divine child of the Great Mother, Father God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. And by doing this, your outcome is going to be transcending this fear. That's what Kali is. Kali is the Hindu goddess of fear transformation. You know, she is the black goddess, the black-blue goddess of dancing with the skullduggery, you know, of the underworld, and just dancing it into oblivion. You know, she ain't she ain't scared. What is scared? You trying to scare me? I show you scared. You know, that's the outcome. You know, it's like, you don't have to live under that. You don't have to live under that, Capricorn moon sign people. You have all the support that you need. For those of you who are not quite ready and you are not receiving Great Mother's message that you are still loved if you're not ready, just acknowledge that you're not ready and ask for the help that you need, and you will overcome the fear as well. If you're not heeding that, well, then you will probably, by the end of this lunar cycle, be experiencing that very deep kind of emotional state of that Capricorn moon that is just, feeling afraid of moving forward, feeling stuck, And again, that's not necessary. You have a lot of help. You have Mars in the 5th house that is ready to create, that is ready to go forward, that is ready to do what it needs to do. And even if you are afraid, that is the very definition of courage, acting despite the fear. You have all the support to do so, Capricorn moon sign people. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all and most of all, as always, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary.